This is Indie Business Podcast, episode 81. Hello and welcome to this episode of the Indie Business Podcast. I'm your host, entrepreneur, mentor, and coach Donna Maria, the founder and CEO of Indie Business. My goal is to help you build a solid business foundation, increase your income, and use your business to create the life you love. In this episode, I interview Ayanna Jackson of Arbria Creations in San Leandro, California. While Ayanna has a full-time job, which she enjoys, she has always had the itch to have a business of her own. She found herself encouraging her daughters to pursue their dreams, but in doing so, she realized that she was not pursuing hers. She decided to change all that, and Arbria Creations was born. Ayanna makes all of her products herself and is fortunate to have the full support of her husband and daughters, each of whom helps in some capacity with her business. You'll love learning how Ayanna has changed her business model to accommodate the realities of the pandemic. And for those of you with a full-time job and a business, you'll enjoy hearing how she manages to integrate work, business, and family without losing sight of herself. You can get a summary for this episode at indiebusinessnetwork.com/81. But first, this episode of Indie Business Podcast is brought to you by the Indie Business School, a virtual learning experience for makers by makers to help you learn new skills to grow your creative business. Take your next class at indiebusinessschool.com. And now, let's welcome Ayanna Jackson of Arbria Creations in San Leandro, California. Ayanna Jackson from Arbria Creations in San Leandro, California. Welcome to Indie Business Podcast.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here today.
Well, we certainly are excited to have you. So Arbria Creations, I remember when I first heard that word, I was like, Arbria, what does that mean? I know there's a story there. So I finally get to ask you, tell us the story behind that beautiful brand name.
Well, the name is actually, I named Arbria after my three daughters. My youngest daughter, Ayanna, which is the AR part. My middle daughter and my oldest daughters are Brianna and Brittany. And the A at the end is for me, Ayanna. They let me have part of it. But I've always wanted a business. And when I finally decided to go ahead and take that leap and start my business, my daughters were my inspiration. And because they were my inspiration, I decided to go ahead and use their names because, and I decided to use their names. I was trying to play with what I wanted to say and how I wanted to say it. And I actually went to them and I asked my youngest and my middle daughter, what do they think it should be? They played with it for a little while and they came up with it. At first, they just came with the first part, but I was like, no, it would sound better if we add the A to it. And they were my inspiration, so I went with it.
That's such a beautiful story. And I love how they played a role in it. So as the business grows, I would imagine they feel like they have some ownership interest in it as well.
Yes, they think it's their business, but they don't do that much work for it. But actually, my youngest really thinks it's her business. She's like, oh, yeah, this is my business. It has my name. So it's my business. I'm like, but what do you do? She's like, I give you ideas. I'm like, okay, yeah, that's true. But you don't work as much, but I do put in the work sometimes.
Oh, but that's so sweet. She gives you ideas. And, of course, without ideas, we have no business. So she is right.
Absolutely.
She is right on track with her value.
Yes.
That is so wonderful. So, and you have a house full over there. Like you've got your three daughters, and I know you have, tell us what's going on in your home these days in the middle of this pandemic.
Yeah, so we're in the middle of pandemic. Usually I would be at my other job or, taking time off and I wouldn't have my dogs here. But I do have I have three daughters and three dogs. one of my daughters don't live here anymore. She just moved out and she has her own apartment now because she is grown. But I do have 3 dogs here. So be patient with me. If you happen to hear barking in the background, I will try to make sure I mute. But they're right now locked into my youngest daughter's room and hopefully behaving.
Yeah, we love dogs. So you have 6 children then. You know what that means, right? Obviously.
A full house. My husband is stuck with 5 girls
Oh my
and
goodness.
one other dog that's a male dog. So he has a
Oh,
lot of women
wow.
in his life.
Does he have a garage?
He does, and
Okay, good.
he doesn't like
Good.
me taking over it, but I have somewhat taken over it with Arbria.
No. Uh-oh. All right. Well, we'll talk about that in a little bit. I know my husband always is like, when he sees men that live with a bunch of women that they don't have a garage, he goes, man, and he doesn't even have a garage. But anyway, I'm sure your husband is enjoying seeing the business takeover over there. So you mentioned earlier that when you decided to take the leap, tell me what you meant when you said the leap. Was that a leap from a full-time job to a business, or describe what you meant there?
So what I mean for me, I do have my full-time job. I still work at my career with the federal government. But I also, when I say take the leap, I've been wanting to have a business forever. When I was in college and I was going to school, my degree was in business administration with an option in entrepreneur because I've always had somewhat of an entrepreneur spirit. I just didn't know what I wanted to do at that time. Then I started, soon after I graduated from college, I started working for the federal government. I've been there now 25 years. And 3 years ago, I actually decided that I wanted to do something. I just had this itch. I wanted to do something. I've always been making my body butters and candles, giving those out as gifts, just sharing that with other people because I had a love for making it. But I was talking to my daughters, and my daughters was like, I'm forever encouraging them. They're dancers, they're cheerleaders. I'm forever encouraging them to do whatever they want to do. And they were like, well, are you doing what you want to do right now? And I'm like, well, yes, I have my family, I have my house, I have my career. They're like, but is that what you've always dreamed of doing? And I was like, no, in reality, it wasn't. And I had to sit back and decide, what is it that I want to do? What can I do that I would love to do? And I finally decided, well, why don't I sell the products that I've been giving away for free all these years? And so for me, taking the leap is actually going down there and filling out the form to start the business and getting that business license. And that was a big leap for me because being a full-time parent, full-time employee, and full-time wife is a lot of work. But then I'm adding in this additional business. But I love doing it. And I don't want to ever turn that back.
Ayanna, what year was it when you did take the leap and filled out those paperwork forms for your business?
2017.
So here we are, approximately 4 years later, and Arbria Creations has just blossomed. And I can tell that it has. Tell us a little bit about your product line and uh, what are some of the things that are your best sellers?
So I started off with just selling the body butter, body oil, and candles. That was what I originally started selling because that was what I originally was making. And then I decided a year ago, I decided to add on skincare because, you know, I've always wanted to have, I was going and buying my serums from other stores. And I was like, why am I buying these when I can go ahead and make it myself? And so I decided to go ahead and start, taking dabbles and making the skincare. I already went to the school of natural skincare. So I knew how to make the facial serums. I knew how to make all these additional products. I just wasn't selling them. And so a year ago, I started making the actual facial serum, the facial mask. And I was doing that a little bit for selfish reasons because my friends were asking me, well, okay, you're making these body butters, which is my best seller. My body butters are my pure best sellers. They are great for people who have eczema, who have really dry skin. But my friends were asking me, okay, well, why aren't you selling your serums? You're making it for yourself. You're making it for your mom. Why aren't you selling it for the rest of us? And so I eventually started selling it to them because the fact that I'm aging and I want to make sure that my skin is looking the best. And I want to make sure that I'm using something that has that, the good ingredients, the all natural ingredients that's clean. I wanted to make sure of that. And then, as I mentioned before, I have teenage girls and one has acne prone skin and one has very sensitive skin. And I was very conscious with what they put on their skin. And I wanted to make sure that I was making something that was good enough for them to be able to put on their skin also. So to be able to answer your question, what is the best-selling product? My body butters are my best-selling products. My body butters and scrubs. But then my skincare is starting to come up there and fight for that battle. So the serums are actually, more customers are getting familiar with the serums because they're testing them out, and we have the try me sites where they can be able to try it out and see how it works for them.
Yes. And I love how your girlfriend said, wait a minute, you're making this stuff for your family. What about us? They're like, don't leave us out in the cold. We need some serum too. It's wonderful when you get that kind of encouragement. So thank you for sharing that. We'll definitely have to check out those body butters. So when you started your business, you had a job, you continue to have a job. You're obviously a mom of many and a wife, as you said. So Ayanna, tell us a little bit about a typical day for you. I know it would be different if we weren't in a pandemic, but let's go ahead and stick with what it's like in this pandemic, because I know it's such a challenge for so many moms who are doing so much more than we would normally be doing. What is a typical day like for you, Ayanna, and how do you, weave your business around your personal life to make everything interconnect together in a positive way?
All right. So my typical day starts at 5 o'clock. I get up at 5 o'clock because I work from 6 until 2:30. And thankfully, I have the type of career that is flexible. They know I have a business, so they know that, there's flexibility. And we deal with, for the agency that I work with, we have a Baltimore office and there's 3 hours difference. So me starting work at 6 o'clock is fine because they've already been at work for 3 hours or they started work at 9 o'clock themselves. So a typical day for my work wise is that I start work at 6 o'clock. I get off at 2:30, and then after that is all about Arbria. I have teenage girls, so because they are teenagers, I don't have to, how can I say, I don't have to, look over their homework. I just have to have those conversations with them. Okay, are you getting your things done? Are you, I can hear them because I know they're attending classes here at home. So they are, kind of handle it themselves, which is wonderful. So yes, and there was a freshman in high school and one's a junior in high school. So they really need to, my junior can help out my freshman if she needs it. And then after I get off work at 2:30, I am able to concentrate on Arbria. Throughout the day, I will get purchases. People will make purchases. If they have questions, they will send me a message through the website, and I can respond to that all during the day, which is great for me. Because that's an easy process for me to be able to do. But then after I'm off, I can start putting together those products and everything. If there's something that I notice that I need to make, I concentrate on making my products on Saturdays and Sundays, because that's when I have all day long. I could do whatever I want to. But during the week, I'm mostly doing, I have a schedule where I'm mostly making updates to my website, responding to emails, and I schedule my Instagram posts because that's where I do most of my posting on the social media. I schedule those all on Sunday. So I have 2 hours that I dedicate to scheduling my posts on Sundays.
So
In the
you
morning,
block out chunks of time to do these sorts of
yes,
things. That's great.
yes. Yes, and it makes my life a lot easier because I don't want to get burnt out with having a business and having having a regular career, because it's easy for me to stop working and then just get everything administrative done, afterwards. And so that part is the easy part. And then I do the fun part on my weekends. And I have a schedule. I have certain things like my body butters. I make that on Sunday mornings. I don't make it on any other day, except if I have a large special order. But most of the time, that's going to be my Sunday project because it takes longer to do. And then I can label and do all that. Or I can convince my daughters like, hey, I need you to go ahead and assist me with putting some labels on for me. But I only utilize them on the weekends also.
That's great. So you have their help when you need it on the weekend, so they're freed up to do their schoolwork and stuff during the week. And it's so great to hear a little bit about your schedule, because a lot of us struggle, as you know, everyone to some extent does, with how to get quote unquote it all done, and having a schedule obviously helps. So you only make on certain days so you can be free to do the administrative tasks the rest of the time, and also obviously take care of your family issues and work.
Yes.
How do
Yes.
you avoid burnout? Like, what is your self-care routine like? I know that's important to you.
Oh, self-care is like my favorite thing to me. So walking is one of my favorite self-care things to do. And as you know, I have 3 dogs. So I do a lot of walking. So I go out, I take my walks. I dedicate an hour towards me time of walking. And that's one of my favorite self-cares. But I also, because I make bath, body, and skincare products, I love doing a face mask and my facials on Sundays. That is Spa Day Sunday for me. Like, I'll actually say on a post saying, "Hey, Spa Day Sunday, this is what I'm doing." Some people think I'm making that up, but I'm like, no, this is actually what I'm going to be doing this Sunday because it's what I enjoy to do. I love going to get a professional facial, but since I can't do it, I can't do that right now because all the spas are closed in my area, but I sure can go ahead and do my own facial. And I love it.
Right, right. Now working with your daughters, like I know it's kind of an off and on thing because they're obviously young and they have their school priorities. But I also see on your Instagram like gorgeous pictures of you with them. God, they're so beautiful. All of you together.
Thank
It's
you.
like, wow. It's really just it's just so pretty, and it just makes you want to, it kind of draws you in. Their smiles, and they look just like you too, which is
Thank you.
also incredible. So when I see them doing Instagram videos. Sometimes I see them doing some of your, your social media posts where they're actually holding the products and talking about them. What is it like to have a business where you are able to encourage and really exemplify to your daughters what it's like to be a woman with her very own business that she started from scratch and is growing herself?
Well, it's amazing because the thing is that for them, rubbing the body scrub on their hand and doing the demonstration in the video, to them, that's something easy. That's something fun for them to do. They don't mind showing their face sometimes on the video, so it's not a big deal. Um, it's nice experience for them to be able to do it because I know like my youngest daughter for high school, for her high school, they require them to choose different schools. And she wanted to be in the business program. And I'm listening to her being interviewed for the business program. And she actually says, "Oh, well, my mom has a business and this is what her business is. And I help her out. And I actually help name the business." I mean, she was
Hmm.
going on and on. And I'm sitting there like, oh my goodness, I really sometimes don't think that what I am doing with my business actually influence them, but it does. And, because her interest
Yeah.
is not really in business, but now she actually wants to go to school to get her business degree and then do her business degree or do the pre-law information because she wants to be a lawyer. And that's something she will do a great job at. But she's able to talk about certain things that I wouldn't think that she would be able to talk about so freely. But because of the fact that she is helping me sometimes in little aspects, she's able to do that. And I'm just so proud of her. And even my middle daughter, that's the one who actually, my middle daughter, Brianna, she does the reels for me on Instagram. So that's part of the thing. Like she's 16 right now. And so I'm actually paying her, not a lot, but just a little something to be able to motivate her. Like, hey, you do something really good, you're going to get paid for it. That's, you got to get paid for your
motivation, Mama.
Yes. So
I love that. Yeah, I love that what you're describing is they're really internalizing this journey. And in the world that we live in today, like there are you can't overstate the importance of them being able to see that no matter what happens to a job or, if a pandemic comes along or whatever, that they have the ability within themselves to create income on their own terms.
Yes. Yes. They can do it and no one's going to tell them that they can't do it because they're like, oh, this is easy. I can easily do this because I do it already. And I'm like, okay.
Yes, they've done it with you and they've seen you do it. And they've seen you schedule, making sure that you don't just leave it to chance, like you have a schedule. And it's funny with our children how we're just living our lives. And one day you hear them say something, and you're like, oh my goodness, they're paying attention. Oh my God. Yes. We don't always get those gifts from them when we're in front of them. It's often third party, like we hear them say it to someone else, like you said.
Absolutely, because I never really thought that they pay that much attention to it. But I do know, like, for instance, my daughter's dance, and they were at an event. Someone didn't have any body butter. And my daughter go, well, see, that's why you need to tell your mama to go buy some of my mom's body butter. She has little travel sizes that you can take with you and put in your dance bag. And I'm like, you didn't give her any body butter? And she was like, yeah, I shared it with her, but I wanted her to know this is what she needs to do.
That is so fantastic. I love that. And so they're learning how to sell. They're learning how to, build relationships and do the things that they love while weaving in a business. And I think that is so important because I think everyone needs to really embrace the concept of, yes, there's traditional parts of life that are great. We've traditional jobs and so forth, but the world is changing. And if you don't understand how to integrate something that you create on your own into the other aspects of your life so you can have a multiple income stream sort of approach, then you're leaving it to third parties all the time that you're going to be able to support yourself.
Right. Absolutely. And my middle daughter is to the point that she actually wants to start her own business. In fact, she did at one time start her lip gloss business, and she sold all of them, but now she doesn't want to do that anymore. She wants to do something else. And I'm like, well, what is it that you want to do? We'll invest in you, but you got to take the first steps. So, she
How
sees
great that you might even be creating your competition. Wouldn't that be wonderful? If you guys, you never know. I mean, either way, competition in a good way, because obviously if your daughter starts whatever kind of business she wants to have, it can only help you and everyone else. What a fantastic story that is. So you mentioned that you took cosmetics classes before you got started. Can you share a little bit about that?
Actually, I took it's the natural skincare classes. So I took that the first year that I started my business. I took those classes to be able to get the certificate because I wanted to make sure that I knew what I was doing.
Ooh, so
I wanted to be able.
That's great.
Actually, I did not finish the certificate. I finished everything up to the certificate, but you have to turn in a lot of different things. And again, I got lazy and I was busy and I was like, okay, but I actually took everything up to, so I probably can still turn in everything to get the
Mm-hmm.
certificate, but I
Mm-hmm.
actually took all the classes. And I do actually have a few certificates
Mm-hmm.
for for some of the specialized classes that I've taken.
Okay, tell us a little bit about that.
Well, it's a for the School of Natural Skincare, you can be able to take certain specialized programs, and then also for even botanicals, you can take certain programs. For botanicals, I actually taken the program to be able to take for what is it for the facial toner, and because I wanted to be able to make a facial toner in a collaboration that I did with an esthetician. And I didn't want to take a chance. I wanted to actually complete that particular program. So I actually took that little short program and just been able to take it and learn the lessons of how to do it. And they actually, what I like about both School of Botanicals and School of Natural Skincare is that they have the videos, they have the lessons. You can go through it on your own time, which works for me because I need to be able to do something that is around my family, my career, and my
Right.
business. So I
Right.
wanted to make sure that I can do it on my time, on my schedule. And it's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of reading, but it's worth it because you have that background, you
Yeah.
have that knowledge and everything about the natural skincare. And that was what was important to me.
That's so smart. So schoolofnaturalskincare.com, is that the one you're talking about?
Yes,
And then you said there was a botanical one. Is that different?
that's a different program. Yes.
Okay. Is it School of Botanical Skincare? I would just want to tell our listeners about it so they can go and check it out if they want to.
I believe it's School of Botanical Skincare.
Oh, okay. Okay. That's great. And so smart too, because, formulating is, it's not rocket science usually,
No,
sometimes it can be, but it's not usually, but certainly the confidence level that you have and the elevated expertise that you bring to the table through your studies is obviously a feather in your cap in terms of reaching your target audience with your products. So
absolutely.
that's super. And I bet they were fun too to learn and to learn
It
in an
was,
environment where you're learning from an expert and you're, learning with other people how to make the products, which you obviously love to do because you said the fun stuff happens on the weekends, right? Because that's when you make everything.
yes, the really fun stuff happens on the weekends when I can make all day. That's something that I can do. Is just that I have to remember, oh, you got a
Mhm.
family. You got to talk to
Right,
them.
right. And I got to sell some stuff too. I can't just make all day. We got to
Yes.
fix it all
And I was
together
wrong.
in there. Hmm.
And I was wrong with the name. The actual name is Formula Botanica. So it's Botanica.
Oh, okay. So there are two different schools, Formula Botanica and School of Natural Skincare. Thank you for
Yes.
clarifying that because I know people are going to want to know and maybe go check them out. So tell us a little bit about how you sell your products. I mean, you obviously have a website and so forth. Do you wholesale? Do you do pop-up shops, retail store? How online, obviously? How do you sell your products?
So originally, before COVID, I was doing a lot of vending events. That was how I was selling the majority of my products and word of mouth. But since COVID, I have my focus is all on website. So I am selling everything on my website, and that's how I'm gaining new customers, which is wonderful. I do virtual pop-up shops now. Like actually tomorrow afternoon at 12, I am doing a virtual pop up shop with Visa. So I do virtual pop up shops. I am not in I don't do any wholesale yet. That is my next step. I actually just got accepted for one place that is going to purchase my products for our online website, which will be a great experience for me because
Hmm.
that's something new. But my goal is to be able to do some wholesale because that is something that I'm looking forward to doing.
And Ayana, how has the pivot from a lot of the in-person vending to online been for you during the pandemic? Like, are you discovering that you prefer it, or do you want to go back to vending more often as soon as you can? How has that experience been?
I love selling on my website only. I really do. I miss, meeting my customers in person. I miss that. But I really love selling in person. I'm not planning on going back. I really am not planning on going back. If I do vending,
You mean you really love selling online as
I
opposed
really
to?
like selling online than selling in person. If I do a vending event, it will be for one of the bigger vending events that are out here. One of the more popular ones that I actually have to go because my daughter will be dancing there anyway. But it's not something that I plan to continue to do because I personally love to be able to make sure that my packaging, my boxes that my customers are going to get looks beautiful and they look like they're opening a little gift for themselves, which is what my ideal is to be able to do it.
So Ayanna, so you're saying that you pivoted and you're not going back. Like this is not a temporary pivot for you.
No, it's not a temporary pivot. It is a permanent pivot.
And you didn't anticipate this at all. Like, because I remember a couple of years ago, you were doing events all the time. Like you were always doing events. If we go back and look at your Instagram, it's event, event, event.
Yes. It was every weekend or every other weekend I was doing events.
Yes. And I know you even had plans to grow that. Like that was going to become like something where, you might be the event host and your products would be there and then you would have other people. And that would be like I remember talking with you a little bit about that becoming a potential income stream. But so it's so interesting to hear you say that because it's an example of how this pandemic has come along and not just caused people to pivot temporarily, but they're really looking at, wow, I can be at least as productive without the physical thing that I was doing or the physical workspace or whatever that I had and still get done what I need to get done.
Yes. And I actually have more time in my day if I do it that way. I mean, I have more time in my day because I can actually dedicate time to just for me. I can relax. I can be able to actually enjoy myself because when I was doing the events, it was all day Saturday and all day Sunday. And it was my whole entire family who was at those events with me. It was not just myself and maybe one of my daughters. It was myself, my daughters, my husband will come there, set up my tent. He will come back up there, take my tent down. It was my mother and my father who will be coming up there for a few hours to be able to relieve us. I had the support system who were amazing, but it was long days. And I'm like,
right.
I think I was tiring out my daughters.
For my husband come back home. Your daughters, right. But your daughters were younger back then too. And that probably made it even more of a challenge. Having said all that, I would imagine that you got a lot out of doing those in-person events so early in your business.
It was amazing. And I met a lot of great people. I met a lot of great business people who also sell items, people who sell other products like my own, sell candles, who sell clothing. I met a lot of other business owners, which was wonderful. And I met a lot of great customers. And those customers have stayed with me, which has been wonderful. Some, like not all the time was I taking my sign up for my newsletter, but a majority of the time, especially towards the end, I was really, saying, hey, make sure you sign up for my newsletter, which was wonderful because once the pandemic started, they were able to continue to be able to purchase items from me. And that's the part I really, really, really love.
So you mentioned that you do some virtual pop-up shops, like virtual events, but they're obviously not in person, they're online. How do they compare and how do they fit into your business model these days?
So the virtual pop-ups, this is all brand new to me. This is going to be my first virtual pop-up. I have 2 coming up and I'm hoping that this will be something that I'll be able to continue to do because it's only like 3 hours of your time and they'll be able to hear you, see you, and see your product. They won't be able to test them, but they can be able to see me demonstrate. So that is something I'm really interested in at least trying out.
Oh, I'm sure it will be so much fun. And your products have so much texture to them too. Like your packaging is pretty, like you said, it's so important for you to make things that look like people are opening a gift. And that is what it looks like, because that's what it is, really. But the colors and the textures of the ingredients and the body butters, and it's really interesting that now people are getting used to shopping in this way. In other words, a couple of years ago, they might have said, well, I can't smell that. But now it's like the other adjustments people have made. They wouldn't have thought that they would be doing things so differently now, but they are, and they like it.
Yes, and the thing is, what I'm able to do with my packages when I send them out, because I want them to be able to be exposed to some of my newer products, I'm able to send them a sample size of one of my newer products for them to try out. And then they'll be able to say, oh, well, I love that. Let me go ahead and purchase it. Or, no,
Right.
that's not my thing. I want to continue just buying my butters and scraps from you. But they're
Mhm.
able to make that decision, because I try to, if I have the sample size, I do try to send that to them so that they
Mhm.
can be able to try something else new.
Ayana, how do you market your business online mainly? What are your main tools that you use?
Instagram and Facebook posts. I am now doing Facebook ads. That is something that I've been doing for the last 2 months. Um, very, very new to me, but it has been helping for new customers to be able to find my business. Um, that is something that I do think I will continue to do. I'm not running the ads myself, thank goodness, because I lost some money by running the ads myself, but I do have someone who is running the ads for me, and that has been very, very helpful.
When you use Instagram, you schedule your posts. Like, what is your favorite tool to use for scheduling?
I use Preview. It's to me is new because I hadn't heard about it, but I use Preview and I'm able to schedule my posts on Sundays. I put everything up there for the rest of the week, and
Hmm.
it is there when it doesn't post for me. I don't have it post for me because I might change my mind on something that I want to post. So I post it myself and everything, which I've heard that is a better way to do it in the first place. Um, I used to use Hootsuite, but right now I'm in Hootsuite jail. So I need
Hmm.
their assistance to be able to help me. And I really do like Hootsuite, but right now I'm just using Preview and I'm enjoying it.
Okay, great. Well, it's so great to have a tool like that where you said you do all your scheduling on Sunday, but then you come back in and actually physically in the moment do it yourself, so you can be more. Uh, well, you didn't say this, but I'm wondering, is that like you just want to be more in touch in the moment or authentic with your target customers as you talk to them through Instagram?
I want to be in control.
Okay. Okay. And I'm
Because
sure
and
that comes through because sometimes you can schedule things and then wish you hadn't scheduled it because the timing isn't right for what
yes.
comes out on Thursday is not what you think would come out when you planned it on Sunday.
Yeah, or something might just, something miraculous might just happen. I'll be like, "Ooh, I need to post this instead of this other one that I had scheduled." The other one that I had scheduled can wait. It can
Right.
wait till
Right.
later on in the day. It's just that
Hmm.
I want to be able to, yes, in a way, be more authentic, but more of the fact for me, I'm a control freak, and I
Hmm.
want to be able to control when it's going to go up there and how it's going to go up there, because I might want to change up some wording, and I have went in there and made some changes last minute, playing like, oh no, I need to do this.
Right. Right. And I just want to make sure that we acknowledge those puppies because they definitely want to be heard.
Yeah, sorry
They
about
are
that.
saying we are here and we want to know we're part of this business too. So of course we love animals, of course. And of course, it's great to have pets around you. They're wonderful additions to our lives. So we don't mind at all. Um, what kind of dogs do you have, by the way, for all of our animal loving listeners?
So the one that's actually making all the noise is my Shih Tzu. That's a 5-year-old. It's a Shih Tzu pug.
Okay.
Shih Tzu pug pit poodle. She's 5 years old and gorgeous, but the one that just barked right then is my 5-month-old pit bull puppy, and those two play together like they're little. Like they're both puppies, but they play together very, very well. And then my other dog, who is being very good and is upstairs in my daughter's room, is a Chihuahua mix. We don't know what it's with, but it's a Chihuahua mix, and he's the oldest. He's like 11 years old.
Okay, so he's more chill than the rest of them. But you got a little baby over there. You got an infant in your household.
I do, and he is. I mean,
goodness,
she's a lot. Right now, she's under my feet, but she's a lot. She's very busy, and she likes to play. And
of course
eventually, she does. And the worst part is, she'll be asleep at 9:30. Okay, she's going to play. Right. She's going to tire herself out, and then she's going to go to sleep.
Well, that's kind of good, isn't it? Like, so she's not up late at night keeping everybody awake.
No, she doesn't stay up late. No, she sleeps. She sleeps very well during the day. She just lays there while we work, and then she goes and play. Then she lays there while we work. And I'm like, okay, good. But right now is not the time.
Well, we're in the middle of a pandemic. Everybody's home together. We've done podcasts. We've heard birds in the background, all kinds of things. So we're definitely good with it. So Ayanna, when you look into the future, 5 years, 10 years down the road, what do you see for Arbria Creations?
I see Arbria being in stores. I would love to have wholesale. Like I said, my next goal is to be able to do the wholesale process. So that is going to be my concentration, is wholesaling. So I would love to see Arbria in small boutiques and little small stores, and so that everyone could be able to try out our products and everything. And then
do you plan to stop selling online? You don't plan to stop selling online. You're just going to add wholesale, right?
I just want to add wholesale.
Okay. I want to make sure that we can still go online and buy your stuff if we don't live near a store that carries it.
Yes, absolutely. I want to be able to have my products still sell online on my website. I want to still be able to cater to my customers because they've been here. And I plan on not going away, but I also want to be able to get other exposure to other customers. And I also would like my body scrubs and probably my one of my new collection in spas. That's something I would want to do, because I am working with an esthetician, and she wants to be able. We did a brand together, our collection together, and our goal is to be able to get that into spas. So that's our next goal.
What advice do you have, Ayanna, for people who have a full-time job, who want to start a business, but they just feel like they just don't know where to start, and they're maybe a little fearful too, because there's something to be said for having, predictable income, which is what a job, one of the things that a job typically delivers. What is your word of advice for someone who's listening and they're like, I want to keep my job, when I want to start a business too, but how can I do it all? And by the way, you may have seen the 5 to 9 advertising series that is supported by Dolly Parton. There's a lot of pushback on that concept, by the way, which really, really frustrated me. But because some people are saying that's not realistic. So let's just ask you, since you're doing it. It is realistic, and it's
very realistic.
Yes, encourage some people out there so we can, have the opposing side to some of these articles out there.
It's very realistic, and truthfully, I think it's the ideal situation. My job is able to allow me to be able to have my business. The business, I'm able, my investment, my job paid for the investment in the business. I was able to put out the money because I have savings to be able to get the labels done, get the printing done, get the ingredients made. All that costs money. You can't do that if you don't have some type of income behind you. So my advice to anyone would be, don't give up that job. There are people out there who sit there and say, quit your job and go start your business. And I feel that is the biggest mistake anyone can do. I feel that you need to have that career to be able to fund your business, and then you'll be able to achieve your goals. So I think that's the way to go. I also feel that it is, do your research, make sure you know what you're doing, know what you are getting into, know those expenses that you need to have. Because the thing is, it costs a lot of money to be able to start some business. There are some that don't cost a lot, but for a skincare brand, it's expensive.
It is. It is.
And I feel that, you have to be realistic. And maybe I'm just too realistic, but I don't want to sit here and have to borrow or beg someone else to give me money to be able to do what I love, when I can do what I love by investing in myself, because that's the best investment that I can do. That's investing in my children.
I love that you're saying that. And it is so inspiring. And I hope that all the ears that need to hear that, do hear that. And we can see it in you as well. But you just articulated it so beautifully. And I just want to repeat one thing you said that really stuck out to me. You said, not only is it realistic, it's the best situation.
Yes.
The best situation is to be able to be in a job that can help you fund your business when you're getting started, so you don't have to dip into savings or rob Peter to pay Paul or what have you to buy all the bottles and jars and ingredients and labels, because it is an investment up front. You don't make that money back until you sell the product, whereas a service provider can offer something for sale as a service and say, this book will be ready in 2 weeks, go buy it now. And they can basically fund it.
Yes.
It's totally different. So thank you for saying that. And I also, it's funny that you mentioned, don't quit that job, because girl, you were talking to me 20 years ago, because I quit my job. Just quit, girl, just up and left. And went baroque, not broke, but baroque, right? Totally. And realized 2 years later that what I really needed was a vacation. I didn't need to be quitting my job. So I had to start it all over again. So you didn't do it. And you say the same thing as someone who did do it the wrong way, or the wrong way for me, at least. I should not have quit because I didn't have savings. I had a little bit of money, but I didn't have, enough. So what you're saying is, start slow, keep your job so that you can get started without the additional stress that you would have if you had left your job.
Absolutely. And the thing is, I also have my career, I'm here for 25 years, and I plan on retiring from here. So I think that for me, it's an ideal situation, because when I retire, I have something else to be able to do. And I'll be able to do what I love. And I'll still be young.
Yes, you'll still be young. And I was just talking to someone just yesterday, literally within the last 24 hours, who was saying, I worked for, 30 years, wherever he was, the post office or something. I came home. It was great for 2 weeks. And now I got a job again. Because he was young enough, he was still vibrant and alive in quote unquote retirement, which is a whole nother discussion. What does that mean these days? But retirement, the definition is definitely changing, but he had been in the workforce long enough to actually have a retirement and a pension and all that stuff. But he was just like, I got to do something else. I'm going crazy. So he, I'm not sure exactly what he's doing, but he expressed that same sort of thing that you just said. Like, who wants to just sit at home and watch TV all day?
Yes, and my daughters are young, so they won't be in, they'll be finishing college or done with college, and I will be here with no grandkids. So I'm like, it just makes more sense for me to be able to do, nurture my current baby,
Mm-hmm.
which is my
Mm-hmm.
business, and
Mm-hmm.
be able to utilize that for when I'm ready to retire, and that still be for some more years, but then I have something to fall back on, and I have something to fall back on that I love. And that's what
Mm-hmm.
I'm happy about.
And that makes you money and really
Yes.
just helps you to encourage women to self-care. And that's so important. So Ayanna, your job right now, you're working from home, right?
Yes.
So that has been a big challenge. Like, do you think they're going to go back to traditional work environment when the pandemic sort of subsides?
We will. I've always worked from home 2 days a week and 3 days a week inside the office. My
Mm-hmm.
staff actually works, a majority of my staff, actually 70% of my staff work from home full time. There's only a few of us who are in the office. So yes, they do plan on for us to be returning back to the office because they are paying for our building and everything. We are in a federal building, so they are paying for the building, but there's no rush right now. I don't think we'll be going back anytime before September, which is wonderful. I'm fine with working from home. I'm fine because I can connect with my employees, by video and everything on a regular basis. And then a majority of the people that I do work with don't live out here. They live somewhere else in another state.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So everything is mostly by video, but they will be returning eventually.
Mm-hmm. Wow, times sure are changing. And what you're describing and how you have basically built this business around the lifestyle that you want, that allows you to do what you love, generate income, be with your family, train your daughters. I mean, there is a long list of amazing things that are happening as a result of Arbria Creations and all the energy and effort that you're putting into it. Thank you so much for sharing some of your story with us today, Ayanna.
Thank you for having me. This has been great to be able to share.
Well, everyone, head over to Arbria Creations, Arbria Creations.com. Follow along on Instagram. And remember, when you see her self-care Sunday post, join in. Like, she's not making that up. She's actually doing it. And we can all do it together with her products and support each other as women as we take care of ourselves and our families. Thank you so much again. It's great to talk to you. And ArbriaCreations.com, everyone. Have a good day, Ayanna.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Well, I hope this episode of the Indie Business Podcast left you inspired, motivated, and excited about the future of your small business. Let's quickly review 3 of the most significant business insights Ayanna and I discussed today. Number 1, self-care. So important. Ayanna says that Saturday is her making day, which she's calling the fun day of the week, and Sunday is her self-care day. She reminds us that while our busy lives make it easy to skip self-care, in the end, taking care of ourselves is the most important thing we do in our lives. Number 2, scheduling. It was great to hear how Ayanna schedules everything so her life can run as smoothly as possible. Having a schedule frees her to enjoy her life more because everything has a specific time when it will get done, leaving the other times of the day for her to do whatever she wants to do. It's so interesting to see how the discipline of a schedule may seem limiting at first, but it's actually so freeing. And number 3, the pandemic pivot. Ayanna shared that before the pandemic, most of her sales came via in-person events. With the onset of COVID-19, however, she quickly pivoted to online sales and has decided she will never look back. Ayanna said she never envisioned that she would pretty much stop doing in-person events altogether, but now that she sees the growth of online sales and that she can do virtual sales events, there's no reason to go back to the days of recruiting her entire family to help sell products in person at a show. Some super great insights there. Well, if you're listening to this podcast on Apple Podcasts, won't you do me the honor of rating this podcast? It helps me so much to know that you appreciate the amazing people and stories featured on the Indie Business Podcast. You can also share episodes from the blog at indiebusiness.com to your favorite social media outlets. I will see you on the next episode of the Indie Business Podcast. In the meantime, do it with me and say it with me. Enjoy your life, build your business, and have your way.